8:04 on a Friday, August 31st, 2012. 71 right now in the Tri-State. Looking for a high today, sweltering 92. Sunny and hot again today. Got some rain coming in tomorrow and maybe cool things down just a little bit. But we're very excited to have with us in the studio for the first time, though he's been on with us regularly for the last couple of years, U.S. Congressman Bill Johnson, who represents Ohio's 6th District. And Congressman, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Tom. It's good to be here.
I understand you got up at 4 o'clock this morning to make it down here. I appreciate that.
It's a pleasant drive, but it's a long one. So yeah, we had quite a ways to come.
With your district, you make an awful lot of long drives, just getting to and from different points in your district.
Yeah, Tom, it's not unusual for us to do what we did this morning. Get up and leave well before dawn. Get back 10, 11 o'clock at night. Get up the next day and start it all over again. This is just a huge district. It's long is the issue. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think there are other districts that actually have more counties than the 6th district has, but certainly not as long. It takes about 6.5 hours to drive from one end to the other.
Wow. The northernmost point in the district is, give us an idea of the
just
town.
Outside of Youngstown.
Okay.
Which is about an hour and 15 minutes outside of Cleveland.
Right.
And then it extends all the way down the river until about an hour outside of Cincinnati.
Wow. That is a long district.
It is. It is long.
Okay. And a lot of winding roads too. I mean, it's not like there's an easy way to get from here to there.
Yeah, and that, if we stay in the district to get to the southernmost part of the district, it does take us along the river and those winding roads. It is actually quicker. If I were in the northern part of the district, it is quicker to drive west all the way over to Columbus and then come down 71 to get to the southernmost part of the district. It's quicker to do it that way because of the interstates.
Yeah.
But we stay in the district.
You're finishing up here in the next few months your first term, what you hope is just your first term in Congress. What have you learned? I mean, you have a lot of experience as a businessman in the military and so forth, but for congressional purposes, you're a freshman. What have you learned in your freshman term?
Well, Tom, first of all, I don't need to tell you this, the issues are big. We've got a soaring debt approaching $16 trillion, mounting deficits, a business climate that have got businesses so concerned that they're holding on to their cash. They're afraid of what this federal government is going to do. We've got a war on our coal industry going on with the administration. You name it, 23+ million people unemployed or underemployed. There are a lot of big issues. And the ability to address those issues requires two chambers, both chambers, the House of Representatives and the Senate of the United States, to work together. I did not realize myself how an irresponsible Senate that we have today can absolutely roadblock any kind of progress forward. We have not been able to get hardly anything done on behalf of the American people because we don't have any cooperation in the Senate.
Well, yeah, they haven't passed a budget in well over 1,000 days.
Oh yeah, it's approaching 3 years that they have not passed a budget, and they said they're not going to pass a budget. They have no intentions of passing a budget, and the budget is just one of the many pieces of legislation that they have turned a deaf ear to.
What have you learned from voters? Obviously, people in politics, people who one day are your friends, the next day may be questioning you, or they may be your enemy, or they may look to be supporting someone else. What have you learned from voters and how to, try to take a stand and yet try to be all things to all people?
Sure. Well, and as you know, Tom, we talked about the vast expanse of this district. I spend an awful lot of time in the district meeting with those that I represent. I don't think a representative can do the job of representing the people if he's not willing to get out and sit down and listen. No, we're not going to agree on everything all the time. What would it be like if we lived in a family where one person got to decide where we went to church, where we ate, where we went to the movies, what TV shows we watched, what kind of clothes we wore? It'd be an awfully boring place. Nobody gets everything that they want all the time. My philosophy has been and remains that I sit down with the people that I represent. I learn more if I listen to them rather than talk. They don't want to hear what's going on in Washington. They want to share with me what their concerns and their needs are, and then let me take those issues back with me to Washington, and I do an awful lot of that. And what I'm hearing from them is, stop the spending. Stop the spending in Washington. Get this federal government off the backs of business owners, off the backs of the American people. Get the regulatory agencies like the EPA and the Department of the Interior, the Department of the Army Corps of Engineers, get them under control, and absolutely make sure that that President Barack Obama is a one-term president.
Well, I want to ask you about that when we come back. I know you watched the Mitt Romney speech last night at the Republican National Convention. I want to get your opinion of that and more. We're talking with Congressman Bill Johnson from Ohio District 6. We'll take a news break and then come right back here on the Tom Roten Morning Show.